Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike at Northwest School of Fly Fishing, the old fish hobo, and I'm on the rivers again, and I'm on this river and I'm popping trout on the Annihilator dry fly. The Annihilator dry fly is probably, in my opinion, I've used it for years. It's one of the top tractor dry flies that you can be using on freestone rivers. So it's called an Annihilator, and it's a little different because you've probably never heard of it, and it's not a fly that I invented. I remember years ago reading an article in a magazine. It could have been a little blog, it could have been an article, it could have been anything, but it was written by Dave Hughes. Dave Hughes is a well-known fly fishing author and from the Oregon area, and I read about a story that he gave. His father-in-law was going fishing and he wanted some flies, so Dave tied up this thing called an Annihilator, and I looked at a picture of that, and he told the story of how his father used it. His father-in-law used it and caught a lot of fish, and I thought this looks like a pretty good fly, so I tied up a bunch, and I've been slaying trout on it ever since. So when we talk about attractor flies, and an Annihilator in particular, we're talking about a category of attractor flies. So a stimulator would be an attractor fly, a humpy, purple haze. An attractor dry fly is a dry fly that's specifically designed to float on water and have color. It's to leave a good impression on water and to leave a color. So when you understand how a trout sees, it has one more cone and one more rod in its eye than we do, and that allows us to see color in a different spectrum called UV, which can be then translated into polarized. And this means that the way you look at red and the way I look at red are two different ways. So a good way of saying it is if I see red, a trout sees it in brilliant red. And when we talk about polarized light and UV light, in darker water, light becomes a different form for them, and it becomes an attractor. So what causes a trout to hit a dry fly is called a triggered mechanism. And the trigger mechanism is three things. It's the impression that your fly makes on the surface, on the mirror, on the meniscus. Number 2 and number 3 is size and color. All those three things have to be within that fly for that trout to take that fly. That's called a triggered behavior and a trigger mechanism. What makes the Annihilator and other attractor flies so good is, number one, they're designed with either deer hair or elk hair, and it creates, and deer hair is hollow, so they float like corks, and it allows it to get this, oh, look at this. Look what just flew up on me. A little stonefly. You see that? It just crawled up my leg. Stonefly. And we'll be doing another video on stoneflies coming up. But what it does is these kind of flies, it allows them to float, making that impression or image on the surface, which attracts or triggers the trout immediately. The second thing is when that impression or image comes to the trout's view, color is really what was the defining trigger mechanism here. And we use these kind of flies on freestone rivers. Now, we can use imitative flies too, like a Goddard fly or an elk hair caddis work really good too, because they're floating on the surface, but they lack that color. So when you look at it, what really an Annihilator is, it's kind of half of a stimulator, and they're small. I use them in size 16s, and you can get them and you can tie them in a variety of different colors. And I like to use the size 16 because when I'm on these mountain rivers like I am right now, the trout don't get very big. They're fairly small because there's not a lot of biomass in that river to support big trout. And so we have smaller mouths. I like to use smaller attractor flies. But I can tell you, I fish freestone rivers quite a bit during the summertime. Probably up to 80% of the rivers I fly fish in the summertime are freestone rivers, and I would tell you with an accuracy, probably 90% of the fish that I catch when I'm dry fly fishing these rivers, which is almost always, is is the Annihilator, and it's my go-to fly. Now, the problem with the Annihilator is you can't buy it anywhere. No one's ever heard of it. It's something that you have to have someone tie for you, or it's something that you have to tie yourself. And it's really, really easy to have someone tie it for you, or tie it yourself, because there's only two components. There's the body of the fly and the deer hair wing. That's it. And these things float like corks. So as much as you may try to find on the internet where you can get an Annihilator fly, you're not going to find it anywhere. It's just an obscure old fly, old school fly that Dave Hughes tied, and he never made a big deal out of it. But I've been using it probably for the last 20 years maybe, and it's my go-to fly. And then from there I will try other attractor flies like a humpy or a small stimulator and go from there. But by and by, what makes this interesting about the Annihilator is that it is unknown. And it is not fished by other anglers. And this one YouTube video is kind of an insight on some of the mysteries of fly fishing that aren't out there, but yet this old hobo has been using them for a long, long time. So if you have any questions about the Annihilator, put it in the comment section. Subscribe, and I've got over 115, 16 videos on YouTube just like this, things about this kind of stuff, and it's an enlightening, and it can add something to your Freestone River fishing. Without any more ado, hopefully I'll see you somewhere on some Freestone River somewhere in the Northwest. I hope to see you at that time.